Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're unpacking the absolutely wild events of Session 23 from our source material appropriately titled, The Kids Aren't All Right. I mean, if you've been following the breadcrumbs, you know the tension in Waterdeep has been building for a while now. But honestly, nothing is going to prepare you for the sheer scale of the betrayal we're about to uncover. It is a massive, literal game changer. So let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive into this, because this question right here is the dark, beating heart of today's entire explainer: 1,000,000 gold dragons. To put that into perspective, that is an unimaginable mountain of wealth, totally enough to catapult a fallen noble family right back to the absolute pinnacle of high society. But we're about to learn the staggering and, frankly, horrifying price the Castellander family paid to get it. And spoiler alert, it's a cost measured in souls, not coin. Section 1. A magical drunken detour. Before we get into all that heavy, world-shattering lore, we actually kick off with a stark contrast, a totally comedic detour. Just picture this. You're Valessa, a brilliant draw wizard, you're gearing up for this super complex magical operation, and your room is totally empty. Your apprentices, Resora, Nicene, and Kyla, are completely missing. A quick search reveals they aren't hitting the books. No, they're at a local bar. These reckless kids literally use their developing magic to disguise themselves as adults just to buy drinks. Valessa walks in to find them totally plastered. Nicene is just slumped over on Kyla's shoulder, completely out for the count. So, with a very heavy sigh, Valessa basically has to drag her underage, incredibly hungover wards all the way home because, well, she desperately needs their help for what comes next. Section 2. The Circle Magic Ritual. Which brings us to how they actually put these newly recovered, albeit very hungover, kids to work. The lesson needs to pull off a really delicate operation, and it takes way more juice than she can manage solo. The mechanics of this circle magic ritual are actually super fascinating. She gathers up the somewhat functional apprentices, mainly Resora, who is somehow managing to stay upright, along with Talia and Sental. By having everybody chip in a little bit of magic, just pulling their collective energy right into the weave, Valessa is able to sustain this highly advanced scouting spell. This collaborative effort summons an invisible, completely invulnerable magical eye. And because they're doing this circle magic, it stretches the spell's duration out to a massive 9-hour window. Pretty brilliant, right? Section 3. Spying on the twins. With the ritual locked in, the recon begins. Valessa drifts this invisible eye deep into those secret tunnels they found earlier, just waiting for the mysterious leaders of the 99 movement to show up. And man, the surveillance pays off big time. Through the eye, they watch as the Castellanter twins, Elzarina and Terencio, finally arrive. They step into the secret room looking completely disheveled, boots caked in mud, hair a mess. And the absolute second they realize someone's been in their hideout, the tension goes through the roof. Elzarina just erupts, literally throwing furniture around the room in this fit of absolute rage. But right in the middle of their panic, Valessa does something so bold. She initiates a telepathic interrogation, just booming her voice directly into the twins' minds, completely shocking them and demanding answers about their supposedly studying abroad older brother, Oswaldo. And this brilliantly illustrates the deeply different ways these siblings are handling their shared trauma. On the one hand, you've got Elzarina, a completely volatile warlock who took major shortcuts for power. She actually formed a pact with Galazia, the daughter of Asmodeus. She is running on pure, unfiltered rage and just wants total vengeance. Then, on the flip side, there's Terencio, a measured, calm wizard who actually put in the work to master the weave through intense study. He stands there at parade rest, calling for rational thought, and ultimately wants to see his parents face a legitimate legal trial. They're basically two sides of the exact same traumatized coin. Section 4. The Horrific Truth Revealed. After that whole telepathic shock, the party manages to set up a face-to-face breakfast meeting with the twins down near the docks. And guys, this is where our tone has to shift. They're surrounded by 20 red-sashed supporters, and the horrific truth they uncover here is easily the climax of today's explainer. 99. That isn't just some catchy gang name or political slogan. It is a body count. The twins reveal that their own parents, Victoro and Amalia Castellanter, sacrificed exactly 99 innocent, impoverished citizens to fulfill their infernal contract. Amalia literally hosted a dinner party for the city's poorest folks and fed them a poisoned meal. And the most chilling detail? The poison was perfectly timed to hit right as Victoro was down below their estate, shoveling stolen city coins into a flaming pit for Asmodeus. Amalia just watched 99 of her own neighbors die gasping on the floor, all to get her family's wealth back. Let's move to and see how this builds, because this massive betrayal was decades in the making. Decades ago, the pact is struck with Asmodeus for 1,000,000 gold dragons. Shortly after that, their eldest brother, Osvaldo, the one supposedly studying abroad, was actually turned into a chain devil as a horrifying down payment. Let that sink in. Then comes the dinner, sacrificing those 99 citizens to pay off the rest of the soul debt. Which brings us to today. Elzarina and Terenzia were technically spared from losing their own souls because of that mass murder, but they are now dedicating their entire lives to destroying the parents who sold them out. Now, what's really interesting here is the sheer scale of Elzarina's ambition. When the party asks her what she ultimately wants out of all this, she doesn't hold back at all. She bluntly declares, "I won't be happy until Asmodeus himself pays." Honestly, she doesn't just want her parents locked up. She harbors this incredibly violent desire to see everyone involved turn to ash. Her ultimate goal? Usurping the throne of hell from Asmodeus himself. Yeah, it's a statement that leaves the party completely and, understandably, speechless. Section 5, an uneasy new alliance. Faced with this overwhelmingly dark reality, they all have to figure out a path forward together. Luckily, the party has their own track record of annoying archdevils. I mean, they resurrected a smut author just to spite Glacia, which actually earns them some grudging respect from the twins. So, it's time to make a deal. But right before they finalize everything, Soundtall decides to summon their new assistant for some legal research on taking down corrupt nobility. Pop. In comes 742B. He's this deeply neurotic, totally deadpan quadrone modron, basically a mechanical cube of perfect geometry, and his very first question, delivered with complete sincerity, is, "Master, do we have murder on the agenda today?" It is just a perfect, bizarre little moment that breaks up all that heavy exposition before they get down to business. So, the crucial point is the structure of this newly struck alliance. The terms are very specific. The party agrees to help, but their hard line is that the twins have to cease all bombings in the city immediately. The twins agree, leaning more into Terenzio's plan to expose their parents using legitimate evidence instead of violence. As a symbol of this pact, the party gets these red sashes of solidarity. But the biggest takeaway here? Elzarina promises to use her hellish contacts to hunt down a copy of the original Infernal contract. That is the smoking gun they need. Section 6. The Faceless Visitors. For a second there, it feels like a total triumph, right? A powerful alliance formed to finally take down the corrupt Castellanters. But we're in Waterdeep and things never stay quiet for long. Our focus violently snaps back to the party's inn, the Blushing Mermaid, where Valessa's sisters are waiting. And the source material drops one final, deeply terrifying detail on us. They have been receiving visitors. Visitors who look exactly like the party, but absolutely are not them. Which leaves us with one incredibly unsettling question: who is wearing their faces?